And we are back. This is the youth segment of The Sage, and we have been running a series about how we as young people, young Nigerians, can actively be part of 2023 elections. In the last episode, we spoke about how we can effectively mobilize ourselves into one voice and communicate the message that we want the right candidate for 2023. But we are not done. I remain your humble anchor, Omolade Ogulela. Stay tuned. We'll be back. So this episode is quite interesting. We're talking about the over 15 million Nigerians who are in diaspora. Nigerians who left for several reasons: education, better lifestyle of living, better pay, and of course, our famous slogan, Japa. Because in some countries, or in many of these countries where we migrate to, life is actually better. There's more infrastructures there. There's better health care over there. So personally, I don't blame, even as a young person, when we decide to move there, because I had the opportunity of a better pay living in those countries and putting my skills. I'm more encouraged to put my skills and dream and develop things beyond sometimes our Nigerian environment allows us to create. That being said, bringing it down to 2023 election, what happens to those over 15 million Nigerians, particularly the young Nigerians amongst them? Where do they come to play? Our foreign reserve shows that over $45 million was generated from Nigerians in diaspora in July. Over $60 billion has been made in 3 years from our Nigerians in diaspora. That is money talking. They have influence. So cutting them out of being a vital and central voice in 2023 elections might not be the way to go. And we're going to trash it out today on the youth segment. So I'm sure by now, many of you know our young discussants, but I'm going to do a quick introduction of them. First, we have Mrs. Ngozi Roland Oneguwoke, CEO, Same Foods and Spices. We have our media personnel, Ms. Chinelo Ezekwe. We have our lawyer and also CEO, Healing Hand Spa, Rachel Bob. And of course, the man in the arena, Mr. Eric Ochibo, CEO, St. James Bond.
Thank you very much for having us.
You are all welcome.
Thank you so well.
For having us.
So let's get into it. Our people that have japa, our people that have left us for better. Me, I don't mind because I'm already thinking of that American dream. I have a dream too.
It's not only me.
I woke up in America, living the life. I don't mind too, but we have work to do. We have to salvage our country. We need to make our country better, because I remember saying in one of our previous episodes that wherever we go to, we still remain Nigerians. Mm-hmm. This is still our home. But what role can they play? First of all, how do we even mobilize those in diaspora? One. Then what role can they play in advocacy amongst themselves and to their families in Nigeria? How can they even channel funds? Is there a right legal way to go about it? And please, let's talk about this. They can't vote, because I feel pain for them, because you see that $60 billion in 3 years. I'm trying to imagine how far that went in developing our economy. And you're telling those people they don't have a say. Is that not robbery? So who wants to start? Who is going first?
Talking about Nigerians in diaspora, the term simply covers every Nigerian citizen who lives outside the shores of Nigeria. be it overseas, be it in Ghana,
It's
Cotonou,
this diaspora.
everybody's diaspora.
In diaspora too.
Everybody's diaspora, you know. And you see that most of the people that have left to search for greener pastures,
True.
which
Which
of
is
course
fair.
you can't blame them because most of those countries have enabling environments for them to strive in business. But in as much as they are not here, there's nobody that is outside Nigeria that doesn't have a family member here, probably a mother, a father, a cousin, auntie, or something, you know. And the truth about it is that when you go out there and see a system that works, it hurts that back home, it's a different ball game. So these people have seen that where they are is a whole lot better. How can they make their country at least, if not exactly like those places, you know? And the truth about Nigeria and diaspora, you know, when you live outside the shores of Nigeria, even if you see an Hausa and a Yoruba person, you feel like oh, finally, Nigerians. There's this excitement. Oh, this
Tribalism doesn't matter at that point.
It doesn't matter at that point. So most of them, they survive by having groups. So there are a lot of groups there. You know, you have your village group,
Representation
you have your village group, you have your state group. That's the way it works, you know. So, and we have a lot of youth groups. Because Nigerians in diaspora are contributing massively to the economy of those countries.
True.
Yeah, in fact, there's no country that in Nigeria doesn't stand out in one thing, either in academia, in a particular profession or something. So they are doing greatly and doing well. So these people have formed groups. They are existing groups. There are already people, youth groups that have been formed and that are concerned even towards the 2023 election. So one of the amazing things that can be done in terms of linkage, I think the Conversation for Change platform.
Yes, we do actually.
Yes, it's creating a linkage on linking the youth in diaspora and those in Nigeria. Because some of them, another thing they face is having genuine groups they can relate with.
Yeah.
You know?
That won't tax them.
Exactly. That won't tax them and all that. So they can, one of the major resources they can help us with is information. Let us know, how does it work there? How do they overcome certain challenges we are overcoming? So they are better informed. How can you bring that system to work, to domesticate those things that are working in those countries into our own country for it to work for us? You know, so apart from that, of course, you can also assist. They are the second highest contribution of foreign reserve after the oil sector. So you can imagine that is huge.
That's powerful.
That is huge even for our economy, you know. So these people are people that we could relate with. They should help us. Some of them are even willing to travel down. I know a couple. Just a couple of them who are even willing to. We are those groups that are speaking up for the youth, for us to come and educate and talk to them and see how we can even assist further. So these people are there. They're available. They're just looking for genuine ways that they can come and be involved, you know. So these people can come as foreign observers. You know, they can work with other societies and all that, civil societies, you know, to monitor and all that. But like you said, the issue of them voting is...
I was about to throw that at peace.
I just, sorry, before you go, on the information bit, when I was in school, uni in 2015, I didn't school here. So we had like articles, podcasts.
What school was that?
American University, North Cyprus.
Okay.
So we had like articles. This was not the school, but the Nigerian
community
in
yeah,
Cyprus.
the students there. We had articles rolling out, podcasts, like Facebook Live and all of that to talk about the 2015
election.
Yeah. So
we need
that's
to encourage such.
Yeah.
They are good as observers, but why can't they vote?
It's just the why can't they vote? Well, it's just like asking why is Nigeria the way it is. You know, these are things that we should, you know, that is why we're here. That is why there's an election coming up. That is the whole, it's still part of the whole galvanizing ourselves and working together to ensure that they start voting. Good. So even if they can't vote now, because the legislation on ground does not warrant that, there's no provision for that, we need to amend our constitution in order to allow them to vote.
Constitution amendment.
Right. And this constitution amendment is not rocket science. Of course, the powers that be, the National Assembly has the powers to do this. But we all know it's an open secret that they wouldn't want to do that because Nigerians in the diaspora are not hungry. Nigerians in diaspora are not suffering. They are well informed. They are
Unbiased.
balanced,
Yeah.
unbiased. You can't buy them. They are not affiliated, so they will see through. They have the sound mind and the knowledge to see through them and do the right thing. Nigerians don't like when they do the right thing, which is what we're trying to change the narrative. Yeah. So right now, as much as we want a situation whereby you cannot be, donating this huge amount of money that covers like over 50% of the national budget every year, and then you cannot now exercise your powers. Another thing again that bothers me about Nigerian politics and why it's so important that youth come together to vote is it's all over everywhere. If you go to Arise Television, if you go to channels on YouTube, you'll see our current Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Idris Wase. Another House member got up to actually narrate the ordeals and he read a letter from Nigerians in diaspora from Benue, right? A group of Nigerians in America that are Benue, indigent, and this herdsmen, farmers crisis, and how it affects them, and how Nigeria should look into it. And the Deputy Speaker just started attacking the honorable standing. What are you talking about? How can they stay in the comfort of their home in America to be talking about what is happening? So the honorable says, but sir, they are Nigerians. They have families here. They have, and the deputy speaker was so pissed that they didn't allow him. They had to shut him up. They had to shut the honorable. They told him that he can't say anything. This is to show you the caliber of leaders that we have. This is, when I heard it, I had to go and browse. I had to go and check maybe his educational background. These are people that should know. These are people that lead us, that got angry that they cannot stay in the comfort of their home in America to contribute to factors that affect their families. They have Nigerian passports, for crying out loud. They contribute.
They have
and
family
then
members, parents.
Yes. And then you say they don't have a say because they're in America.
And we kind of
it's
make
not
money
like
out of
a
them.
bad thing that they are actually out of the country.
You can imagine. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. And he actually went to a polytechnic. He's supposed to be learned. He went to school.
And most of them have their children abroad.
Exactly.
We're getting we are going.
It's just sad. So this is why we need
Eric
to
is
vote in. All this all boils down to doing our research and make sure we vote out people like this and voting people that are actually very sound, that actually know these things, that can't utter such things. In a developed country, there's a country to be, first of all, if you say this kind of thing, you're not going to be there anymore. You can't. Yes, that mistake cannot happen. But of course, Nigeria, everything is swept under the carpet. A lot of things happen. Monies get missing, and before you know it, nobody's hearing anything about it.
Monkeys and snakes. Swallow money.
And very recently, termites now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So, Eric.
Well, Nigeria is a developing economy. It's a developing democracy. And though 20 years now, we should have started growing beards now.
That's what I wanted to say.
But that notwithstanding, it's still a developing democracy and a developing economy. There are things you are not used to. It takes time for change takes time sometimes. It's not all the time change just takes place. Sometimes it takes time to change. And when we are referring to, in fact, in the past, it was in this last amendment, 2022 amendment, or 2021 amendment of the Electoral Act, that finally approved electronic transmission of results. So prior to this election, 2023 election will be the first general elections where results will be transmitted electronically. Usually they carry it in papers from one vehicle to another vehicle, and you can be intercepted by any interest group, change figures, and somebody emerges overnight. So, but now that has been taken care of. In the past, we used to have a lot of ballot box snatching and all that. You see, we are developing, we are making progress, though not as fast as we want it, but we are making progress. And I'm hoping that before the next election, after 2023, our brothers in diaspora should be able to vote. Because now we are beginning to welcome electronic components into our voting system. We now have the card readers, we now have electronic transmission and all that. So we are making progress, but not at the speed at which we want it. But now that they can't vote, what can they do? And I think that's where the crux of this conversation is. Now that you can't vote, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't fold your hand and watch Nigeria sink or leave us struggle. I believe Nigerians in diaspora have seen better democracies, have seen more developed economies. And for we back in Nigeria who are not there, we may not see beyond what's on the news. We may not see what is beyond what is in the news. So, but for those who are there, you see the day-to-day activities of young people in diaspora, how they came together, how they were able to influence decisions at the polls, and how they have able to grow the economy over these years. We back at home, you may not have all these ideas, and so it is very important for Nigerians in diaspora to connect back to us as well. Share these ideas, share these experiences. Let us also be armed with information that we don't have right now. Be armed with ideas that we don't have right now, and see which one we can implement.
Wow. You heard a lot, but there's still more to come. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll dive in more into what our young Nigerians in diaspora can effectively do come 2023 and how we can all mobilize ourselves both at home and outside. We'll be back. Welcome back. So this is our concluded session for this episode, and we're still going to dive in more in how we can effectively mobilize Nigerians in diaspora, particularly young Nigerians in diaspora, to effectively be part of the 2023 elections. But also to say that it's key that, because we mentioned how there are Nigerian associations and groups amongst those in diaspora, if there's a way those in diaspora and those in Nigeria can merge in a way and we have a middle ground so that the right information and equal form of information is being passed between both sides. Just to mention that C4C does play a connecting link between both groups, and we can serve as a mediator if needed. So let's dive back to our conversation. Well, they can't vote, but hopefully in the future, right?
It's yes, okay. Well, like I said, our democracy is growing. INEC too is growing. The political parties too are growing. You see, things are beginning to be different from how it used to be in 2009. Now in 2022, you see some level of development. So I see maybe in the future we'll get to a point where Nigerians in the diaspora can vote. In fact, we saw in America during the COVID that people were able to vote via mails, right? People were able to vote via mails, and it counted and contributed to why the government, the government America they have today exists. It contributed very much. So Nigeria is growing, like I said, and it will be something our INEC will understudy going forward, because every year we keep amending. After every 4 years, we keep amending the Electoral Act to improve on it. So if electronic transmission works very well, which we are hoping it will, there are chances that Nigerians in the diaspora will begin to vote as well. There are chances that we'll have them vote. It may not be happening now, but development will come. We will continue to make progress, and we'll get to the point where Nigerians in the diaspora will vote. So I say this so that people don't feel disenfranchised. We are just developing. It's not, perhaps people are afraid of technologies. We have to look at it and look at it again and look at it again before it works, before we adopt it. It may not be what the young Nigerian wants, because we are very technology savvy. We want to move with the speed of light. But again, we still have our parents with us who want to recheck the mails and look at the files and be sure that works. So it's just a matter of time. They will be able to vote. So don't feel any disenfranchised and then fold your hands. There is still little one way you can contribute to make sure Nigeria makes the right decision.
Okay, and then in making the right decision, I think to be able to partner, like you said, to join forces with Nigerians abroad, in diaspora, and here. I think the way actually starts with the Nigerian Diaspora Commission under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it's government, so we have the right to go there. Even C4C as a body, we as Nigerians and groups and everything, we can go there, ask questions, because they are the ones that the National Assembly has placed the burden to, placed the responsibility, rather not burden, a responsibility to, interface and liaise directly with everybody every party, every society in diaspora, they're interfacing with the Nigerian Diaspora Commission under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So I'm sure that I'm sure they're ready, when we get there, we're going to get loads and loads of information from them on how to actually move or get these people's contacts, like authentic contacts. And then also, they also have a role to play where, like we all mentioned here, that people in diaspora, many of them may want to support, but they don't know where to go. They don't know which youth group is actually genuine and those that are not. So with Nigeria in Diaspora Commission coordinating these things and maybe having we like C4C and other people that are interested, when they can organize these things and pen it down and then, like connect us to these people out there, I think it will make a whole lot of difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
Rachel, any final words?
No, I agree with everything that everyone has said so far, with the information and dispensing of information. So I think that's good.
Well, you've heard from our team. Our discussants. We've been running a series for 5 weeks now. So we're saying to every young Nigerian, we've put out a lot of information that can empower you to make the right decision come 2023. For those at home and those out of the country, you all have a role to play. Somehow, everybody, get your hands on deck. It's time to fight for the future of our nation. Stay tuned. We're not done. We still have more to come. So please go to our YouTube, our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Get into the conversations. Let's know your thoughts. Who knows? Your comment might be the next episode. You never know. You might be a guest on the stage. Who knows? So get into the conversation. But I'll turn to our discussants. Thank you so much for being with us.
Pleased to be here. Pleasure.
And we look excitedly to more to come. Take care.
How can we say that we all love each other with all the hate? How can we say that we hope for each other with all the shame? How can we say that we long for a future without no faith? And how can we say that we're all for each other with all the range? But this time we will unite, show our might, and we'll rise, not divide. We'll unite, we will fight for this world, for this life, forevermore. How can we change all the hate we created to save our world? How can we save the home we're losing slowly? And I know it'll be hard, it'll be tough, it'll be work, but it's worth it in the end. We're strong and we're young and we're all that we need to make a better place. I know this time we will fight and we'll rise, not divide. We'll unite, we will fight for this world, for this life, forevermore, 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 forevermore. And we'll rise to save our lives will unite. We will fight, for we are young. We'll see a world we're longing for forevermore. Forevermore, forevermore. We'll fight for each other, we'll fight for our homes, we'll fight for our love, we'll fight for our love, we'll fight for our peace, and we'll fight till we win, we'll fight till we win, we'll fight till we win, we'll fight till tomorrow, we'll fight for each other, we'll all come together, we'll all be together, we'll all come together, we'll all be together. We'll all come together forevermore.